Good afternoon, and welcome to my channel here on YouTube. I am Keisha. My channel is Love and Guiding Light, and I am coming to you all today seeking prayers from all my spiritual brothers and sisters here on YouTube. Anyone that is drawn to my page or whatnot, and who are truly seeking our God, our Creator, seeking God in a sense, and how I believe, He is awakening us to do. That you all will keep me in your prayers. Right now, I've been under a spiritual war now for some years. I am a true warrior. God knows I am. I am always ready for the battle. Not one easy to throw in the towel or give up. I've overcome lots of challenges and so forth throughout my lifetime. I am 51 years old, and I have overcome a lot of things, that's been thrown my way. Currently, I'm being faced with my son, who is struggling with an addiction to marijuana. And when I tell you all that, it's really disheartening to see someone you love, especially a child, and your child at that, struggle with an addiction, and not know how to help them. It's really disheartening and really tugs at the heart of the parent. So I'm really struggling because I'm at my wit's end with this entire situation. For years, I've had him in counseling, trying to help him to be able to talk through any type of emotional things that may have hurt him, in my separating from his father, and whatnot. Anything that I think has contributed to him even seeking out the use of marijuana. So I just want to try to help him as best as I know how. I've utilized counselors. I've contacted crises people, like the 800 crises people, and to no avail. There's been really no help. It's a lot on me. I have done all that I know to do to try to get him the assistance and the help he needs, but he doesn't think he has a problem, and he really doesn't want the help. He doesn't really want to go into a rehab and so forth, which is one of the things I have been trying to encourage him to do. And last night, in the middle of the night, probably about midnight, I was talking to a friend, and a friend was saying that, they wanted to come by to see me or whatever, and I was just like, it was kind of late, and they were talking about coming to see me about 9:30 in the evening, and I was like, yeah, that's a little late. We might need to get together, tomorrow perhaps for lunch or whatever. It's a male friend, of course. I was like, because at 9:30 at night, what is it that we can really do? There's not really a whole lot you can do. I'm not really one to watch television. I don't watch television. So when he made the suggestion we could just watch television, I was like, yeah, no, I don't really watch television like that, and at 9:30, I don't want to put myself in no type of predicament with someone that I, at one point in time in my life, had a relationship with on an intimate level. So I'm not interested in putting myself in this temptation type of situation. 9:30 at night, coming to my home, I just didn't feel comfortable with that. But it triggered a thought to me. I had come in the house, and I didn't realize when I came in, I wasn't really paying attention. that my television wasn't on my TV stand. So I'm thinking to myself, when he made the mention of my television, where is my television? That's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, where's my television? No, I don't watch the TV, but I do have a television. I have a couple of televisions throughout the house. So I asked my son, where is my television? I go wake him up out of his sleep because I don't see the television. I'm thinking maybe it's in his room because, sometimes the kids, when they're gaming, they take and bring their PlayStation and be at the house, and we'll set it up in the room, and they'll be playing against each other. So I'm thinking it was in his room. But when I didn't see the television in his room, I'm like, where's my television? He can say, like he's so asleep, he don't understand when I'm asking him. He's going to say, it's in the office. I go in the office, the television's not in the office. Things are missing and coming up missing out of the house, and I keep asking you about where are these things at, and you keep telling me this, that, and the other. So finally, he woke up, and I'm saying to him, where is my television? So he tells me he took and pawned my television. He took and pawned his mother's television. Backstory is that I had to start over from scratch after leaving his father. I had to rebuy every single thing, and I have been out here working 2 jobs trying to have and replace the things that we had in order to make my home comfortable, not just for myself but also for him. And so everything that I have worked hard for, and I bought these things, and I just was like flabbergasted that you would take my television and sell it. And not just my television, because my tablet is missing as well. I haven't been able to locate that either. And his response to me is that you don't watch TV, so I didn't really think that it had any value to you. Instantly, I am just very emotionally disturbed by that, because anyone that knows me knows that I go hard in the paint for my children. That's nothing I wouldn't do for them. To have your kids steal from you. It is heartbreaking. I ask that you all please keep me in your prayers. Keep my son in your prayers. This evil thing has a hold of him, a power over him. He doesn't see it. He doesn't think he has a problem. Anytime that you're stealing from your loved ones in order to get these drugs, marijuana, I don't care what it is, and it's only marijuana, because everyone is like, when I'm telling them the story, they're like, are you sure it's just marijuana? Are you sure it's just marijuana? I've had him tested twice. I've taken him to his doctor to have him tested twice, and we've done blood work, and the only thing that's coming up in the blood work is marijuana. So I have had him tested twice, and it makes no sense, because I have never experienced, I'm not really a drug user, never have been. As a child, I actually had to take care of my siblings and all of that, because they were strung out on drugs when I was a child. And so I would care for them, and I would care for their children and all that. I was 14 years old when I would be taking care of my siblings and uncles and all that when they were strung out on hardcore drugs. And I left my home city because I got tired of it. I got tired of seeing my loved ones hurt themselves with drugs. I come from a very highly addictive family. So that's one of the reasons I have never even played with drugs, because I know what it does, and I know how it can control your life and take over your life. And now I'm sitting here dealing with it with my son. And it's so hard, because you love your children and you want the best for them and you don't want to see them go down the wrong path. And I'm just lost for words anymore because I don't know what else to do. Everybody's like, Keisha, you got to give him tough love. You got to give him tough love. And I try to do that. You know, I've called the police. I had the police at my home last night along with the ambulance because he started threatening to kill himself, which he does a lot to try to make me feel bad because of the things he's doing to me. Like, he's not only stole, you know, my television and my tablet and he's other things out of my home, but he's, you know, even gotten into my banking accounts and stuff like that. And these are the things he's done to me, and he'll apologize, but he's just not genuine in it. Because if you did one thing, like you would steal money from your mother's checking account or wherever, and then you get reprimanded for that or wherever, and you apologize for those things, and I forgive you, and you turn around and steal my television and other belongings out of my house to sell them for marijuana, then you are not sincere in your apologies. And I told him don't waste his apologies anymore, because at this point I don't believe that you're sincere in regards to your apology. So it's useless for you to keep saying it to me, because I really don't believe you. Not if you continue to repeat the behavior. So I did call the police. You know, there was nothing they could do. You can evict him. You can file evictions on him and all that. And because he just recently turned 18, he is considered an adult or whatnot. And because he had threatened to hurt himself and blow his brains out or whatever, which he has done on numerous occasions. However, whenever he's in front of a professional, like a professional psychiatrist, he says he's never wanted to hurt himself. So he knows not to say these type of things to a professional because he doesn't want to be hospitalized, or, you know, and so he says what he thinks they want him to say in order to keep from being hospitalized. But he said it to me. So I did record all of this last night so that they could hear for themselves that he is threatening to hurt himself. He knows I have a pistol. However, I keep it in a locked safe that he does not have access to. But he knows there's one there. And he will say little stuff like, I'll blow my brains out and this, that, and the other. And I let them listen to this recording, and they're like, oh, there's nothing they can do. They can't commit him to the hospital or to a rehab because he didn't make a plan to kill himself. He just said that he wanted, that would be his option, that he would choose versus going to jail or going to rehab. Because I told him that two things was going to happen last night. One, he was going to go to jail for stealing from me. It was going to be consequences. They were going to arrest him. Or two, you can go to rehab. You pick your choice of what it would be that you want to do. And he said neither. He would just blow his brains out to make it easier for me so I wouldn't have to keep dealing with all of this with him. And I said, listen, you're not going to use this whole manipulation, throw this in my face that you're going to hurt yourself to make me feel guilty for the piss poor decisions that you keep making, that you're doing to me when I'm out here working hard to provide shelter for you. And I'm being abused in my mindset because I've done all that I know to do, and then you continue to do it, and you continue to do it. And then I've taken and asked for help on many occasions through crisis line, through counseling. I've had him in counseling for 2 different spans of time, whatnot. I've gone to the doctor and asked the doctor to give me a 1013 in order to take precedent over him in order to have him hospitalized so he can get help. He has an addiction, and I don't know what's laced in this marijuana that these children are getting a hold of. And this is everywhere, because I'm talking to mothers, other mothers that's experiencing these same things. I don't know what they're lacing in this marijuana, but there's clearly something else in this marijuana, because the behaviors in which you would steal from your mother and do all these things to get marijuana, those are behaviors that, you know, other drug addicts use. You know, like if you, I've known addicts that were addicted to cocaine and crack and heroin. Those are the type of things that those type of addicts have done. I've never seen a marijuana person. And I know marijuana users, you know, from my childhood. Matter of fact, I remember, you know, my sisters and them, when they would smoke marijuana, the weed would pop. And it would burn holes and everything. It would leave trails that somebody was smoking marijuana. This weed don't do that. I don't never see that. So I don't know what's in the marijuana, but it's clearly something in this marijuana, which is why they're probably trying to legalize it, because they know that our culture, you know, the culture of, you know, I don't want to seem like it's a race thing, because I think a lot of people utilize marijuana for different things. But my people of color, they do generally like to use marijuana. And I'm not opposed to anybody using marijuana. There are truly some benefits from the use of marijuana. I've seen people's health do a 360-degree turn from marijuana use. You know, I had a close friend of mine whose husband was given his final date to leave this earth. They said there was nothing they could do. He was not going to make it. And he started using marijuana, and he lived another 3 or 4 years after that. So I do not argue that there are some true benefits from using marijuana. However, he was an adult. This man was an adult, okay? So you can consciously make a decision to use marijuana on a medicinal basis, and it can be very therapeutic and help you. But when you're talking about a child, which I discovered he started smoking marijuana, I think when he was 16 is when I found out. But he had been smoking marijuana since he was, I want to say 12 or 13. And I asked him, well, why did you start smoking marijuana? I just need to know. Because you don't see your mother smoking marijuana. Well, he did see his father smoking marijuana. His father is a regular marijuana user. And he thought that looked so fun. So he wanted to try it. He couldn't wait to become an adult. Well, life would have it, I would leave that situation. I would leave that relationship because I was being taken advantage of in that situation. And let me just say, I'm a victor, not a victim. So I won't go into the things that I was subjected to in that relationship. But I left that situation to improve my health and my well-being. And I ultimately thought that my leaving the situation was helping him. But by the time I left him, he had already been subjected to seeing so much and being around so much that it had already impacted him, and I was not even aware of that impact on my son. But I am aware of it now because I'm living in this nightmare, and I'm trying my hardest and my best to get him through this time. And I'm asking for prayers. I'm asking all of you out here that are spiritual warriors to keep me and my son in your prayers. You know, I refuse to allow this to control my life anymore. And I love my son. He's an adult. He's 18. Technically, I still feel like at 18, your children are still your children, and they never are prepared for this world. 18, in my mindset, is still a child. And because of the things we've gone through and the things he's gone through, I still feel like, you know, he's been stagnated in his mindset at an age, like the age of a 13 or 14-year-old, because the behaviors are those, in my opinion, acting out for attention. And at this point, he don't care what kind of attention he gets. It could be good or bad. So the behaviors are a cry for help. And so I'm trying my hardest to be loving and empathetic towards my son and keep my sanity at the same time, because I am not completely 100% well. You know, I have lupus and all these things, and I'm supposed to avoid stress. And the one thing I can't seem to do these days is avoid stress, because I'm dealing with so much, with this situation. So I'm asking for prayers from you all, and I'm just being, I'm just coming and being transparent with you all, because the spiritual walk, especially on this journey of being awakened, is not an easy one. And I get on here and I can do readings and I can appear to have all my crap together, but I don't have all my crap together. I still deal with stuff, as a person who believes in God and believes in, everything ultimately working out in the good for me. Even in the midst of all of this, I believe that everything happens for a reason. There's no coincidences, and that even through this, there's it's going to work out ultimately for my good as well as my son's good. I just want to get him the help that he needs, and I'm utilizing and trying to do that by using the resources I can. These resources haven't been very helpful. I will not lie. I have used the crisis line. I've called the police. I've tried to scare him straight by taking him when he was like 16 or 17. Well, he was 17, to the what do you call it? Youth department, like the youth where they can reprimand him, to have him locked in a cell just to try to scare him straight, but they wouldn't do that. I've talked to his doctor as far as helping me get some type of paperwork that would put me in charge of making decisions for him to have him hospitalized. I've taken him to rehabs where they do evaluations so they can talk with him and so forth, to see if he needs hospitalization. But because he's smart and he knows what to say, he says all the right things and they won't hospitalize him. So I don't know what else to do. I don't. So my resource is reaching out and asking prayer warriors to stand with me and praying for my son. Stand with me. Pray for my son. Lift him up. Lift me up. Lift me up, and ask for God to continue to give me the strength. The strength to endure. The battle is not mine, it's God's. He knows all, He sees all. And I know that this too will work out. It will work out for our good. And it should pass. I'm utilizing tough love. I told him, since he wouldn't voluntarily go with the EMS last night to the hospital to be evaluated and to get help, that tomorrow it's either you're going to go to a hospital and get help for this addiction, or I'm going to take the advice I was given by the police officers to file eviction. And he doesn't have anywhere else to go because he has no other people here, no relatives. Like my aunts and them is here, but I don't think he would reach out to him. And his dad is, now we know that, if you know how that could be, but yeah, he couldn't go there. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And I'm praying that he will take the rehab versus me having to file eviction towards him, because that's what I'm going to do. I don't have any other options, because I cannot continue to allow him to continue to do what he's doing without consequences. Because if I don't do something, if I don't nip it in the bud, if I don't allow him to see the consequences of the decisions he's making, he could end up in a real jam. He could go out here and steal something from the wrong people, and his life could be cut short. It could be anything, and that's not something I want for my son. So I'm gonna have to show tough love, and in the process of doing that, I am in the process of packing up my home because my lease is due to end at the end of December, and I have no idea where I'm going to go, where I'm going to be, or what I'm going to do. But I don't think I'm going to be renewing this lease here because yeah, I can't continue to try to sacrifice doing all these things to keep shelter over our head and whatnot, because like I said, I'm working 2 jobs trying to maintain shelter for us, and it's taking a toll on my health. I was just hospitalized and whatnot because I'm facing so many different things, and I'm supposed to be avoiding stress. So I'm going to take control of, you know, doing that, alleviating that, and gonna go ahead and start packing up my home and trust and believe. I'm stepping out in faith because I know that God will illuminate my steps and the path and where I should go, and you know, where I should do my next steps. So I'm believing that in my packing, the action of packing, that He will show me, He will illuminate the steps and what I need to do next. But again, I'm asking you all to please keep us in your prayers. And if you feel led to do so, and you have any suggestions, I live in Georgia, any avenues, if you know anything I could utilize in getting my son the help he needs, please, 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 please leave it in the comment section, or even email me. My email is love, LOVE, and guiding light, and as in the initial N, guiding, GUIDING @gmail.com. I would greatly appreciate it. Any advice, if there's anyone else out here dealing with some of the same challenges, if you are looking to have support and encouragement, or even someone else that you can converse with in regards to what you're going through, we need one another. I'm here. I'm always open to anyone, because I know that everybody needs someone sometimes. And I'm calling upon all my brothers and sisters that's on this platform to stand in prayer for me and mine, okay? Thank you so much. Until next time, toodles.